guys, it's me, Kimberly, and welcome to this new video. Today I'm coming to you with a classic knitting podcast. I think it's been 4 or 5 weeks and my goal was to upload a knitting podcast every month. So I'm trying to stay on track. I had some trouble finding a moment to film this video as my upstairs neighbor is renovating her bathroom. So that is making quite some noise, as you can imagine. So I had to find a time, and I hope we're not getting interrupted, but I have loads to talk about and to show you, so I'm really looking forward to film this one. So let's just get started, I guess, with the finished objects. I really have been in my knitting mojo lately, so I have been finding quite some time to knit, and actually want to go pour all my energy into my projects. I've also been buying loads of yarn and all these knitting accessories, and I am having so much fun. So I'm really happy that I'm fully immersed into my knitting again, and I'm getting so much happiness out of it. So I also want to share that with you, of course. And I think we're just gonna start classically with the finished objects, and we're gonna start with a fluffy pink spring summer happy garment that I finished, and that is my Lola sweater from Novemberknits. I will put it I was inside out, so I'm so happy with this one. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So yes, where to start? It is the Lola sweater from Novemberknits. As I said, it was the first time I was knitting a pattern from her. It's a raglan shaped garment, and it is designed to be quite oversized. The recommended yarn is the Knits.bykimberley Cos with the Knits Chunky Ballerina, and she knitted it exactly in this color, and I fell in love, and that's when I knitted this as well. The yarn, when it came in, I was a bit scared because it felt quite itchy and it wasn't that soft, so I was like, oh no, is this even gonna work out? But after blocking, this sweater really changed, and also combining the yarns made it such a fluffy and soft garment. The yarn did bleed a lot while blocking, so if you would use this one, be mindful of that. What do I have to say about my knitting experience? I really liked knitting this up. It went very fast because it's on big needles. I think the recommended needle size is 9mm needles. However, I knit quite loosely, so I had to go down to 7mm needles to even meet gauge / getting a fabric that I liked. So that was a bit of a struggle for me. I knitted the neck on 5mm needles, and you size down to get these stripes horizontally on the garment. So I did that with the 5mm needle as well. I think there were quite a couple of things that weren't really working out, and that was mostly to do with the segment paneling that you need to get. So that's an X amount of rows, and I also had a bit of trouble, especially with deciding how long the body should be, because I didn't want to have the finished panel be super long, and I also didn't want the garment to be too long. So that's why I stopped at, I think, around 13 rows from the last panel. I did the same for the sleeves, and that's where the disappointment's hitting. I expected it to grow a bit more after blocking, and it really didn't. So I would say the sleeves are a bit too short, especially now after having been able to wear it the last couple of weeks. Every time I put it on, it kind of bothers me. So yesterday in the Easter weekend, I asked my sister-in-law, I was like, do you think the sleeves are too short? And she was like, yeah, I think they are too short. So I think I should go and redo the cuffs, or at least lengthen them, not really redo. I just have to take apart, Italian bind up. That's gonna be a lot of work with this chunky mohair yarn, and then add some extra rows. But I think I should really do that to get more wear out of the garment. It's just, when I wear it, it just doesn't look that great. It's looking off balanced, or at least that's what I think now after wearing it for a bit. If you're interested in the details about how I eventually had a bit of a trouble with picking up under the arm sleeves without getting holes, you should also check my other podcast. I go into quite a lot of detail about this project. I will link it. Go check it out if you're interested, because in the end I did not manage to get the rib to line up with the body and the sleeve. That's just because the stitches are off, and yeah, it would have been nice if that would have been the same, but I don't know if it's for all the sizes. At least it was for this size, and this is the size small. I have 1 ball of cos left and 2 balls of the chunky mohair, so I do have quite enough yarn to actually add to the sleeve length. And I think I in the end maybe should have gone for the size 3, because I didn't get it that oversized as I wanted it to be. But yeah, maybe we can fix that look as well with lengthening the sleeves and changing it up a bit. But overall, very happy. I'm still wearing it, of course, and I feel very fluffy and happy when I wear this. My boyfriend doesn't find it that soft, so, well, he doesn't find anything soft, but I know softness is a feeling, and it's for everybody way different. So yes, that was finished object number 1. Then finished object number 2, and that is my Ivy sweater from Petiteknit. I finished her last week. I only had the sleeves to go, and as you can see, that is a different color. We had yarn chicken and we lost. I made a whole separate video about this one because this is a repurposed yarn from my first ever knitted sweater. I got a kit from Wool and the Gang, I think a couple of years ago now already. 3 years ago? More? Yeah. And I knitted my first ever sweater. The first years I actually worn her a lot, but just over the time there was just a lot of things wrong with it and not looking that great, so I was not really grabbing it anymore. I thought it's a waste to let this Knitwear yarn just be laying here in the side of my closet and not getting used, so I went and frogged the whole thing, washed the yarn, wind it into new balls to then knit something new. I made a video about that as well. If you're interested, I will put in a link. It was something quite different and I do like the process, and that I got a full new garment out of it that I will probably actually wear. It was also quite a lot of work. So I am amazed by people who buy secondhand sweaters to then just frog it and repurpose the yarn. You are a brave one to do that. But I'm very happy with the end result. I also have the Ivy blouse, and now this is the Ivy sweater. Knitwear is one of the recommended yarns she has on her website for promoting the pattern. I went to knit the size small also because I didn't have that much yarn, and I went to knit it on 5mm needles. It's the recommended needle size. I swatched and I was meeting the gauge, so that's what I did. I think the sizing is good. I like how it fits. The only thing that I maybe could have done better is bind off a bit more tightly at the body, because it has a tendency to really roll up, as you can see, and I would like to not have that. So maybe I can fix it with another block and then pin it down or something, or I should just redo the bind off and do it a bit more tightly. Do I have anything else to say about this? I really like the continuous shoulder shaping and how it fits on my body. That was also why I went for this one. I needed quite a bit of a tight fitting garment to actually use the yarn and have enough yarn. I think it worked out great. I also really like how the cuffs turned out, even though they are a different color. It is snapnook yarn. I had this left over. It was around 20 grams or so, and it was from my sweater number 14 V-neck by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and it was just laying in my closet, and now I finally found a purpose to use it. So I have a sweater with some cute white cuffs, and I wish I had enough white yarn to actually make one hem at the bottom, but I did not. So this is what we ended up with. I am very happy with how she turned out. Yeah, I still have to figure out what I do with the body. Maybe I should just wear it a couple times and see, but I think it would annoy me, so I have to go back and do something about it. So I would say 2 finished sweater projects that both need a little bit of extra love. I am in my knitting mojo, and I am not scared of frogging anymore and putting in some extra work, so I don't really mind. But yeah, I wish they were just done, but they need some extra love. And then we are having 2 other finished objects, small ones though, but I had a goal of knitting more socks this year because I do actually wear a lot of hand knitted socks that I've knitted over the years, but 2025 was the year of no knitted socks. I totally lost my sock mojo, and I found it back. So I have this finished pair. This is knitted in the Lang alpaca sock. They're very fluffy and they feel nice on my feet. I just made my own pattern. It's a 2x2 rib, and I did a heel, flap, and gusset construction, and I just used the basic of the My Crazy Sock Lady 9 circular needle pattern. Very happy with these. What did I do then? I finally used my hand-dyed yarn from Olivia and Oliver Fibers, and I made this beautiful socks with it. These are also just basic socks. It's the colorway Feather, and it was a sock set, though it came with the contrast color. I really like this. This is the first time I was knitting with like a speckled hand-dyed yarn for a sock, and I really liked it because it was engaging and seeing how it was turning out. I mostly knit my socks in just one color, so it was really nice to actually see it coming together. It also really makes me want to knit some striped socks, so I'm on the hunt for some self-striping hand-dyed yarn. So if you have any recommendations, leave them below. I did see some nice ones, however not all of them ship to the AU, so it would be really nice if you know a hand dyer who makes self-striping socks that is in the EU so I could buy from them. Yes, as I said, very nice. This is knitted on 2.5mm needles. I cast it on 65 stitches. As I said, I'm quite of a loose knitter, and I was having troubles with sagging down of the cuffs on my legs, and then even having the sock to twist on my feet. Yeah, it was just not really working, so I'm trying to find a new sock recipe that works perfectly for me. And I have some more sock news, but we will first get into my other whips, and I wanted to show you a new whip, and that is going so fast, so fast. It is my port jacket by Ozetta. Yes, it's well, how did this start? I made my spring knitting plans video and I already put it in there. I really wanted to knit like a jacket that I can just throw on, a bit oversized but still keep me warm, as here in the Netherlands the weather can be, well, I think unpredictable is the right word, maybe, I don't know. But I also got a bit knitfluenced by Marlene Knit. I had been watching her podcast and she was talking about her new favorite yarn being the yarn Matisse from Rosa Pomar. So what did I do? I made a big order on their website because I really wanted this color and I wanted some of their project bags, and I couldn't really find that in one of the Dutch stores. So I just ordered from their website. I think they are shipping from Portugal. Shipping costs were quite expensive, but I am very happy. I bought 6 balls of this, and when I got it in, I didn't really know if I was gonna knit the port jacket with it or just a other oversized sweater. So I just started swatching. I swatched on 5mm needles and I swatched on 4.5mm needles. And in the end, I liked the 5mm needle swatch better and then the 4.5. I think it was a bit too tight and the stitch definition wasn't that nice, so I went for the 5mm needles. And with that one I was also meeting gauge because it didn't really grow with blocking the swatches, so I just cast it on and it is going so fast. I mean, this cardigan is quite hard to show, but here she is. I have been busting out this project. I think I started on the 26th of March and it is now the 7th of April. So you just first start with knitting the back panel and you add in the detail. That is just some knit and purls at the end of the segment. Oh, is this going all right? When you've done that, you pick up stitches for the front sections. You do increases for the shaping to eventually pick up for the neck, and you knit until the X amount of length, and then you can join in the round for the back panel and the front panel, and that's also where the detailing stops. It would have been nice if there was some, I don't know, how you would more detailing into how this ends, or maybe just pull it all the way into the body, because I think it now just stops quite abruptly, but maybe that's just me. Having so much fun knitting this up. I got a bit bored when I did, I think, around 10 centimeters of the body, and that's when I casted on the sleeves. First casted on the first sleeve. There is also some short row shaping in the sleeves, so that makes it sit nice on your shoulders. It is you're doing the decreases after X amount of rows, and then you knit the cuff. So I had to rip one cuff back because I first did one cuff on 5mm needles, just like I did for the rest of the body, and it wasn't just looking that great. I will put in a picture of how it was looking compared to when I sized down. I just knitted the 5mm ribbing. I did knit it inside out to get a neater look because my rib is just not that neat, and I'm not really with all the things that I've tried, I'm not really getting better results. So I thought, let's just try and knit it inside out, and I did. I like how that looked, but when I did my Italian bind off, it was just a bit wide and I didn't really like how that looked, and it was also quite big still on my arm. So when I knitted up the second sleeve, I did one extra decrease right before I started the cuff. So I did two decrease, so you lose two stitches, and then knitted it on the 4mm needles inside out again, and then did the Italian bind up. And I just like the look of that way more. So that's when I ripped one cuff back that I did on 5mm, redid that, and now we're having two arms that are done. And I'm really liking the color. I'm really liking the yarn. It's not that soft, but it's a bit rustic. I don't think it's itchy at all, and I do think it softens a bit even with blocking. And this is of course not blocked, but I was on the I was on the birthday of my mother-in-law, and she was like, "Ooh, this is not as soft as you normally knit." I was like, no, this is a different yarn, but I think it worked perfectly for a jacket. And I'm also really eyeing their green. I think it's the number 10 color, and I'm really liking that. So maybe I have to hold myself back with buying all this yarn, but maybe I will buy that yarn and knit a oversized sweater. I just really think that color would be beautiful. But I need to hold myself back and first knit all these garments before I can actually knit something else. Okay. Do I need anything more to say about this? I don't know. I don't think so. I bought 6 balls, and I think that would be enough. And it's not even that expensive. I think it's 12 euros per ball, and you get 100 grams in each ball. So you need 6 of them, and I think it's around the same cost that you would buy 12 balls of Petiteknit. It's around the same meterage, so you get 200 meters for 100 grams. Yeah, really liking it. But that meant some other whips had to go to the back burner. And one of them is my Monday sweater. Okay, I need to figure this out later. My Monday sweater, she is getting along, but it was going super fast until, well, I started my port jacket, and I think I didn't really touch it anymore. But this is my Monday sweater, knitted in Knitting for Olive. The soft silk merino held together with their fingering merino in the color linen. I'm really loving this color, and I think it will suit me very well, actually. So I did a good color choice, even though it's always quite hard to see on the website. Really happy with this. I think I bought 6 balls of the merino and 7 balls of the soft silk mohair. I am not really making any modifications thus far. I only opted to do a twisted rib neck, again because my rib is just not that neat, and I do really like it on this kind of sweater. I did not like to do the cuffs on my port jacket to do a twisted rib. I just didn't really like that, so I just went for knitting it inside out to get a neater look. But for this, I really like the look of a twisted rib neck, and the raglan shaping is looking very nice. It also went quite fast. You do short row shaping, of course, in the back, and I am knitting this on 4mm needles on my metal Chao-Gu needles, and I really love how this fabric is so drapey and kind of airy. The only thing is that on the metal needles, it's easy to make mistakes. So you easily pick up a stitch below, and then of course afterwards you see that. So when you're a couple rows in, you're like, I made a mistake down there. So I did have to do some repairs by lettering down, getting my crochet needle out, and then changing it up. But it's all fine. I got a bit bored of it, and I think that's also because I picked up other projects. The body is just stockinette in the round. The exciting part of doing all the raglan increases and everything was over, so maybe I'm gonna opt and cast on a sleeve to change it up. I do have to watch out, I think, because I have been seeing that since I have my Chaogu shorty set, the blue one, and I knit my sleeves on that, my gauge is quite a bit tighter, which I did not expect. I heard this before. I don't know if you guys have the same issue or why this is happening, but yeah, I saw it on my port jacket as well. I think the stitches on my sleeves that are knitting also on 5mm needles are looking a bit tighter than the body section. Well, I expected that they maybe would be a bit looser because the body is knitting back and forth as it is a cardigan, and then the sleeves are knitted in around. And normally I am tighter in the round, or not looser in the round. So I would have expected that it would cancel each other out, but you can still see a bit of a difference. I don't think it's that obvious, but I do have to keep that in mind with this project, I think, because this is just such a different fabric that maybe it will show quite a bit if I then have a different gauge on the sleeves. But yes, this is her, this is she. I am playing a dangerous part here, but my needle stoppers are all in use. I need to buy some more. Okay, that's her. Another whip that has been quite exciting, I need to go and grab. Okay, I'm back. This is a project that has been waiting for my attention since December, and that is my Dream Cardigan from Wool and Beyond. I also should invest in more nice project bags. My nice bags are just all in use, as I am a person who has many whips and is not monogamous at all, and now I am doomed to this vegetable bag. But it's, yeah, if you have any tips or nice for nice project bags, let me know where to find them, because I am in need. Okay, the last time you saw this, it was still basically a sweater. Well, it's supposed to be a cardigan. It's a Steek's project, and that's why it has been waiting for my intentions for so long. I finally went for it and I steeked it. So she is now actually a cardigan. Wow, it was stressful. I always had the intention to do it with a sewing machine. I don't own a sewing machine, so that would have meant that I would have to go to my mom's or to one of my friends, and that gave me stress as well. So I, in the end, just went for doing the reinforcement with a crochet hook. That worked quite nice when I figured out how to do that after watching some YouTube videos. And when I did both of them, the exciting part had to happen, and that was cutting it. When I was cutting, I was like, oh my god, did I do it well with the reinforcement of the stitches? I hope so, otherwise this whole garment is ruined, and it's knitted in Cardiff Cashmere Classic. So I was like, why did I even go for his first steeking project with cashmere yarn? What if I ruin it? But it all went well until I cut the garment, and I was like, what now? And that was mostly because all of the videos online or information online just ends when the garment is cut. And I was like, I need more now. Also, the pattern is not that explanatory when it comes to doing all this. It just says steek. And this is my first garment, so I was lost, as you can imagine. But I just did what she did. She said after you cut it, I had to pick up 3 out of 4 stitches for the flap that you knit to hide the steeking side. And I don't know if you can see it already. It's too much, so I need to redo it. I first thought maybe it would fix itself with blocking, but I went to the yarn store this weekend and the lady said blocking will not fix it. You have to redo it. You just need to pick up less stitches. So that's on my to-do list, and maybe on my to-do list of today. I just have to rip it apart and pick up less stitches and redo it. And it's also quite thick and bouncy, so I think it would also be better if I add extra rows, so the flap that you fold over and then knit down is a bit longer, so it has a bit more wiggle room in there, because now it's just quite tight and there are even some bits peeking through, and I don't like that, so we need to redo that. I mean, when I did all this, it was, I cut it late in the afternoon last weekend. I think it was Friday, and then I spent the whole night knitting that little thing and trying to do that for the other side as well. And that's where it got even more confusing, because for this side she said pick up 3 out of 4. I did. Mind you, it was also late at night and dark, so I wasn't really aware yet of how this was probably going to be too much stitches. I just finally find out how to pick up stitches, because she just says pick up in section 1. Well, you pick up again 3 out of 4, but then knit 1 row and then immediately knit them off, so you bound off while knitting, so you get this chain. Then she says that you have to pick up stitches in that chain to again knit that flap to hide the reinforcement that you did. But before you do that, you pick up again 3 out of 4. So that would mean I would get a different count of stitches for the side where I make the buttonholes than the side where I knit the buttons on. I hope you're still following. It's hard to explain. I was just confused. I thought, how would that be a thing? Because also she said you have to pick up in the same stitches again to knit the button band after you do this little flap. And then she also said 3 out of 4. But I can't imagine that you need this one side less stitches than the other side for the button band. That just doesn't really align in my brain. So I also said that at my yarn shop where I went Saturday, and the lady was like, well, that sounds odd. But she said that I had to come back on a Monday afternoon to get help from Hella. And she's there on Mondays from 1 till 4, which is like a time that I'm just at work, so not really able to go by. But I was down bad, but I've recovered now, and I know that I just need to do it over. This is just not looking great, and after putting in all this work, I should just make something that I like and love and will wear. So I have to rip this apart and then pick up last stitches, see how that looks, and then I'm just gonna match the same amount on this side. And we just have to do some reinventions for ourselves as well. When I was down bad because of all this, I went to Ravelry and I was not on my own. So a lot of people found this part of the pattern quite confusing. I did have some struggles with the pattern in the beginning as well, with all the shaping of the shoulders. It's just not that explanatory, and the so it's not really described or explained. And sometimes I would have loved to get a stitch count that then would be on your needles, and she doesn't provide that. So I had to do all the counting myself. I even asked a native English speaker on how to interpret it, and she in the end also did interpret it different than what it should be after I did all the calculations, because I tried to do it in ChatGPT, it didn't work. Then I did it all just by hand and see how many stitches I needed, and then it turned out I indeed need to do more than what I would have thought by reading the pattern. So I wasn't really surprised that this part is also just a bit, yeah, quite hard to understand. I think it would have been better if she just linked videos to how the sticking part should be, or how to pick up the stitches, or add in more pictures. I don't know. We just have to spend some extra time to fix this, and maybe I will do it this afternoon or tonight, because I do really want this garment to finish. I mean, after that I only have to do the neck and the little cuffs on the hand. I did not do those yet because I have this left and one whole ball, so I didn't really know how much fabric I was gonna need to do all this reinforcement flaps. I don't know, what's the official name? I can't find it. It was so hard to Google as well, or find videos on YouTube on, some people call it a sandwich. I don't know. They also didn't really know how much I needed for picking up the button bands and knitting the neck, so that's why I was a bit hesitant with doing the sleeves already. But I finally made some progress. I sticked it, I did it, and now we just have to fix it. I think, yeah, then I have another whip that is my Tia zipper. She has not been touched, so no improvements or anything for that project, so I'm not going to show it. Whew. So yeah, I'm not going to show that. So I think I have one whip left, which is a sock whip, because, well, we are continuing this sock mojo. However, I do think we're gonna rip her back. This is yarn from Lamy, bien Lamy. No, French is not my language. La bien aimé. In this beautiful, yeah, dusty pink, I would call it probably. I went to do the broken rib sock pattern from Summer Lee, but I'm just not liking how it feels. It's, maybe it would be better if I blocked it, but I'm not really liking the look. Maybe it's this yarn. I'm not really liking how it feels. So I think we just have to frog her and rip her back. I just don't see the vision, and when I like put it on, it's just not working for me. So I did see some other cute patterns with some pointelle details, and I think this yarn with this color would be perfect for that. So I think after I film this, maybe I will just frog her today and I get these needles free again, because I did splurge on yarn. First, as I said, I did my Rosa Pomar order, and I ordered one pair of their sock yarns. It's the Mondim and it's 100% Portuguese wool in black. I do wear a lot of loafers to work and I always wear like black merino socks in them, or at least most of the time, or dark brown. I thought a knitted pair would be perfect, so I went for black, maybe a bit of an odd color, but I think I get a lot of use out of it. And also, I would like to see how 100% wool yarn will hold up as a sock. And also, it is summer, so I can then see the stitches as it's black. Well, yeah. Not a lot to say for this. I did order a little project bag with it. That is also very cute. And I also ordered the Matisse project bag. These are quite nice project bags if I bring them in a bigger bag. For just bringing them along, they're not that great. That's why I'm like, I need other project bags maybe. Now we're gonna get into some more sock yarn. I bought some yarn at Stephen and Penelope, the yarn store in Amsterdam. I had so much fun knitting this socks up with the variegated yarn that I wanted more. So I ordered this beautiful Olivia and Oliver Fibers BFL in the colorway Crisp. So these are the classic socks. So I think there's a nylon in them and these don't. So this is 100% blue-faced Lancaster. It's a 4-ply. It just looks so great. I think I'm gonna wind this up today and then cast this on when the needles are free of the of the other sock. And I couldn't hold myself back, so I did order another one, and that is the colorway Woodland, also the 100% blue face Lancaster. I don't know. Also a very beautiful yarn, more autumny maybe. So I think I'm gonna wait with this one, but I was just, when I saw it, I was just in love, so I needed to buy this. So 2 beautiful new hand-dyed sock yarns for my collection. And I ordered another one, and that is this one. This is the colorway Stone from Little, I don't know how you pronounce this. This is a high twist merino sock, and it's yeah, 100% merino wool. So we will see how that holds up. Also no nylon. So I now ordered all sock yarns that have no nylon in them and are 100% wool. So we have to see how they will hold up. I did knit one pair of BFL socks from Susan Crawford once. I think that was the first socks I ever made, so those are like 4 years old or 3 years old, and I mean they felt it a bit at the heel and under the foot, but there's no holes, they're still holding up, so I have faith. But as you can see, I have quite a lot of sock knitting to do, or not, and then it just will be in my stash. But I barely have a stash, so I thought I'm allowed to make more of a stash, especially because now I just have found peace with the fact that I want to have more whips, and then I can just switch them up when I'm getting bored of another one, and that way I keep knitting instead of then not knitting, because that one project is not giving me the satisfaction that I need at that moment. And if I want to do that, I need more yarn to have available when I get the itch to make something new. So that was the sock yarns. I did order more yarn. and one little acquisition. And these are all in the theme of blue that I'm wearing. Well, this little acquisition, it says hello Kim, and I am Kimberly, so that was just perfect. This is a counter, so a row counter, and I wanted that because I have ambitions to knit more tiny scarves. My Sophie scarf is almost getting used on the daily, and I'm switching that up with my Stay Toasty scarf by Petiteknit. That one is a bit off white, almond beige, not the best color for me. And I thought spring, whereas a lot, I need more of those little scarves. Who had thought? So when I went to the yarn shop Saturday to also ask about my cardigan, I also bought some yarn. It's beautiful. I bought 2 balls of the Cardiff cashmere in the color 644. I don't know the name. They do have a name. If I will find the name, I will put it in. And I was holding this against my face and I was like, this is gonna look perfect on me. However, I'm not really sure which scarf I want to make yet. Do I want to make another Sophie scarf, or do I want to make another Stay Toasty scarf? Or should I knit another scarf? I don't want to do a knit like a lace scarf, so I did not I looked on Ravelry a bit, and I of course had the book club. Was it the book club of the peacock? I don't know, the scarf from Sarah Nordland, but I don't think I want to do that. And I also maybe don't want to knit a triangular scarf. So the shaping of these scarves are perfect. But if you have a tip or another project designer that I should check out to make a new scarf, please let me know in the comments, because it was kind of hard. Also because they all use different names. So one time it's a shawl, then it's a scarf, and you get so many hits even though you put in all these filters. So yeah, please let me know if you have a nice pattern that I should check out that I can maybe knit with these 2 balls, because this is also all I have. We don't have more. And then last but not least, I did a big order. If you saw my spring knitting plans video, you know that there is a pattern that has a chokehold on me and my brain since it came out, and I think it came out in 2022, and we're now living in 2026, so that says enough. I splurged. And I swatched. Yes, you see it right. I did a big order for a bush yarn. I really wanted to try this yarn, and I was eyeing this for a while now, and I just saw this pattern and this yarn come together. So what I'm talking about is the sweater number 28 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I made a little swatch. This is the swatch, and we are talking about the Le Petit Lamb's wool held together with the soft silk Le Petit Silk mohair in the colorways Summer Blue. I was doubting to get the very light blue or the summer blue. Everyone voted for the well, everyone, I think it was 70 to 30. I don't even remember. I put a sticker on my Instagram and everybody was saying summer blue. Even my boyfriend was like, I think you should go for the summer blue. So I did. and I really like how the swatch turned out. I knitted it on the recommended needles, and I know my rib is not the neatest, so I'm also, this swatch is knitted back and forth and not in the round, so maybe not that representative of how my stitches will actually look like in the end, but I just think that it's fine. It's just about the look. It's a textured look. If the rib is not that neat, we're fine. They also added in a nice bag. I didn't order this, but they gave it to me, or at least they put it in the order, and I can't wait for this. But I really want to or finish my cardigan or finish my port jacket before I cast this on. If I get the urge to do it sooner, maybe I will do it sooner. But yes, I'm really happy with this. As you can see, I really treated myself lately. Maybe something is wrong. But it's just so beautiful. I'm so happy with it. I can't not wait. I already saw all these colors on their website. I was like, I want it all, but I can't because it's not cheap. And I don't know if it's me, but the shipping costs have been quite high lately. So for my Rosa Pomar, I had to pay, I think, 20 euros for shipping on like an order that would normally be free of shipping, or at least if you look at the price of everything I was in my cart. Same goes for this. I think this yarn is very expensive, so I think it was almost 200 euros, and I had to then pay again 12 euros of shipping for, well, it's from France and I'm in the Netherlands, so I don't know what's going on with all the shipping costs. It's quite normally there is free shipping above 100 euros or other 150. Well, these web shops put in a price, right? And now in this case, I feel like you don't get that. So what you gonna order, you have to pay shipping. But I'm very happy with it. I think I'm gonna have a lovely time knitting. I can't wait. I'm having my mojo and I'm loving it. My boyfriend is becoming a bit crazy because he's like, there is so much yarn and so much projects, and it's scattered throughout the house. But he's supportive. He once said to me, you should get a hobby. He wish he could take that back. No, he likes it, or at least maybe he acts like he likes it. And then last but not least, also one of my knitting goals of 2026 was keeping a track or making more project notes. And I have been eyeing this for so long, and I treated myself on this Paper Republic journal, the letter one in this olive green, and I'm so happy with it. Put my initials in, and I went for, I think this is the portfolio, so it has some extra leather flaps on the inside to put in extra stuff. I forgot to order more ribbons, so I cannot add this little booklet, but I bought 2 of the Japanese style booklets. One is just regular stripes, and the other one is dotted, and that's where we want to be. And I started my knitting analog journal finally. We didn't know actually how to start it. It's always, I find it quite hard because then it's like brand new and you're like, where do I need to start? So I in the end started with just adding a list of the yarns that I have been using this year. So I will add more of the yarns once I have knitted with them. And then I went to make a page for my port jacket by Ozetta. So I cut out some of the yarn label, added in like the name, the yarn that I'm using, the yarn color, but also the lot number. I said a bit about the swatching process, which size I'm knitting and which needles I'm using. I'm now making all these notes along the way, so I can hopefully keep better track of my knitting, and then I can eventually just add it into Ravelry. But I just feel like only doing it on Ravelry is just not really working for me. I've tried many times, and yeah, sometimes you just have to accept that something is not maybe the right way to do it. So I also started a new one for my Dream Cardigan from Wool and Beyond. Indeed added like what size and everything, and I'm just adding project notes mostly now about the steeking and some things that I remembered from last time. So I'm gonna try to fill this up with all the things that I have. I do have some scraps left. I will probably make some pages of projects that I've already finished and have some like little trinklets left from, and yeah, this way I'm gonna try to keep track of my active garments that I'm knitting, and yeah, I'm very happy. So 2 of my goals are already working: knitting more socks and making more notes. We're off to a good start, although this year is going so fast already. I mean, it's April. It's crazy how fast this goes. But I think that was all. I've been talking for way too long. I've talked about all my projects that I've been working on. If you have any questions or missed some info, please just shoot a comment and I will try to respond. If you really like this video, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. We're almost hitting the 5K subscribers, so it would be really lovely if we would get that goal soon. And if you want to stay up to date, please check out my Instagram as well, Knits by Kim. And then I hope to see you soon in the next video.